Okay, so let's get started. So today we are here for the AI for Finance and FP&A webinar, and we have with us representatives or people from GA management consultants with me. So Abhinav, Gaurav, and Ishwar are here with us joining from GA management consultants, and we'll talk about more about GA management consultants as we go into the presentation. Yeah, I think 40 plus people are here and more people are joining. In the meanwhile, we do the formalities and the introductions. I think more people will join. So a quick roadmap of today's session. So what we'll be talking about today is what does a CFO envision? What does a CFO's office envision AI to look like in the near future? So that is what we'll talk about today. Yeah, I'll just mute everybody for time being, and I'll ask you to unmute once there are any questions. Okay. AI use cases in finance. So we have a couple of use cases that the team will share, which are very practical. And what all use cases can be possible in finance using AI and Gen AI is what the discussion will be about today. How can you move or how can you plan to implement these skills or how can you learn these skills is going to be another discussion. And finally, we'll open the floor for Q&A. So there's going to be a lot of discussions on the uh, the new AI tools, and also we'll be sharing, I believe Ishwar will be sharing one or two examples of AI use cases in finance. Okay, so that's going to be the roadmap today. So before that, we get into all of that, I'll just quickly introduce FP&A professionals. FP&A professionals has been in training for about a year now as FP&A professionals, but we as individuals who are training, me and Dhaval, who are co-founders of FP&A professionals, have been in training and FP&A since last 15 years. So I've been working in FP&A since 2013, and in 2023 we started FP&A Professional Institute. However, we are training since 2022, and we have trained about more than 3,000 students across all these programs that you see on screen, including the FP&A masterclass, FP&A Launchpad, and the financial modeling for FP&A program. In 2024, we are now launching. So I just completed writing my second book, which is From Accounting to FP&A, which was launched end of July. And today we are here to talk about our newest program at FP&A Professional Institute in collaboration with GA Management Consultants, which is on AI for finance and FP&A. So that is a little bit about FP&A Professionals Institute. With that, we introduced to you GA Management Consultancy. We have been working on this program for last month and a half now, and it's been great to collaborate with Gaurav, Abhinav, and Ishwar from GA Management Consultants. So what I'll do is I'll quickly allow one of you to just introduce GA Management Consultants before we get into the webinar. Let me unmute Abhinav and Ishwar.
Thank you, Asif, for this platform and introducing us. Good day and good afternoon to everyone for joining from different parts of this world. Today we will be, discussing about AI and how AI can be leveraged across different CFO functions. GA management consultants, me and Gaurav comes from finance and accounting background, having 10 years of experience in multiple industries, primarily into CFO offices, wherein we have worked in financial transformations, FP&A, different types of advisory roles. And Ishwar comes from data science and AI background, wherein he have been actively supporting us in driving different AI initiatives, ML initiatives across functions, across organizations. So this is the brief about me, Ishwar, and Gaurav. Together, all three of us founded our firm, GA Management management consultants back in 2022, wherein we joined hands. And the idea was how we can make CFO offices more productive, more efficient, making data preparation, making the use of automation tools and technology to the power that can be leveraged and solve a lot of needs like, reducing time in preparation of reports, a lot of processes across, AP, AR, and budgeting forecasting. So this is something me, Ishwar, and Gaurav have been doing day in, day out, and happy to really collaborate with the FP&A Professional Institute and ASIF and launching this course AI, which we will be discussing about today.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. Thank you so much, Abhinav and Ishwar, for joining us today. So with that, we'll get started, and I'll hand it over to Abhinav and team, and we'll start the webinar.
Before we really jump into what are the different use cases wherein
Mhm.
AI can be used, what is AI, how does it differ from, there are different things you must have heard, traditional AI, generative AI. So before we get into those kind of details, I would really want to emphasize what are the requirements of the modern CFO. And this requirements that we have collated here is based on attending a lot of different CFO conferences, talking to multiple CFO networks to understand what are the requirements currently, currently modern which areas. So one thing current financial functions lack is getting the granular operational data beyond financial summaries. So people do prepare three statements, people do prepare KPIs once their books are closed after every month, but linking it with an operational data, supplementing it with operational data to understand the drivers, the implications of financial change, and how operational data and financial data is correlated, creating more powerful summaries and data driven insights is one area wherein CFO feels, a lot of manual effort is required, a lot of understanding of data is required. And that is where AI is one thing that can be leveraged, to just quickly scan through a lot of data sets, be it structured, unstructured, understanding the correlation between financial and operational data and generating insights. So this is one area wherein CFOs are expressing their interest on how they can extract operational insights beyond financial summaries. The other thing is you must be already aware about predictive analytics and forecasting. So a lot of companies across the functions, use predictive analytics. Traditionally, there are multiple ways of doing predictive analytics. They are using different kinds of models. If you look from an ML perspective or a machine learning perspective, there are a lot of algorithms that are already there in market for doing a predictive analytics, like using, Arima, Sarima. These are more algorithms that are available in the ML. But practically, from a finance perspective, we always work on assumptions. There are a lot of different assumptions that are given by CFOs, businesses, and we construct a financial model based on the assumptions. So one of the use case of AI is also to really assist them in creation of assumptions. So imagine a scenario, you have a lot of data in front of you, and there is a basic thing that CFO wants. CFO wants to create assumptions. What could be the best assumptions based on the data set that can be used to construct a financial forecasting model? So assumption creation is one of the possible use case of AI that CFOs wants to explore. Another is definitely automating a lot of traditional machine learning models. A lot of creation of these kind of ML models requires a lot of coding, a lot of expertise across data science. And this is one possible area where generative AI can be used by financial professionals like you, rather than relying on data scientists or developers to work with you and produce that model. Because ultimately it is finance team who has to own this budget or a forecasting. So definitely predictive analytics is another area that CFOs wants to explore. Non-financial metrics again becomes very imperative that CFO would want to understand more on operational data, implications of ESG. ESG has been now really top of the town, wherein a lot of people wants to understand how a particular operational driver will ultimately impact their business operations, financial metrics. What could be the what if analysis if this will not if this is breached, if this is something AI can definitely be used for building up non-financial metrics and doing that kind of a reporting wherein it is very easy to do a sensitivity analysis of non-financial metrics on your financial and operational data summaries. The other area that has been the talk of the town has been the need for comprehensive planning tools. Traditionally, FP&A has been done on Excel. Most of the companies, if I say in India, uh, if I say top 100 or 150 companies are the only companies that are using proper FP&A tool. But beyond that, most of the companies are using Excel, and Excel has its own limitations because if there are multiple people working on forecasting or a planning, maintaining versions, maintaining source of truth, creating that allocation logics is very difficult across the organization. So there is a need for a comprehensive planning tool, and there are a lot of FP&A tools that have now started coming into the market. And these FP&A tools also lately have been also offering a lot of AI features within that. Some of the AI features embedded in this comprehensive planning tools is creation of an automated dashboards, based on their financial information that is there. The users can create a customized dashboard. So this is one of the use case how AI is getting used in a FP&A tool. The other area is real-time insights. As everyone understands, reading through 1,500 pages document, 2,000 pages document is very difficult. And to correlate it with multiple documents, imagine you want to really extract insights from 10 different documents that have same pieces of information. So capturing those insights for a human being is very difficult, and that is where AI can be leveraged to reconcile data across multiple sources and generate real-time insights. I will talk about real-time insights in our next slide on how possibly the time element can be really measured in terms of making it more real-time. uh, Requirements is not only restricted to FP&A. The need is that it can be used enterprise-wide. It can be used for tax, risk management, internal audits, assistance in external audits. So the implications of AI is on the entire finance. Similarly, integration. Integration is very necessity, and that is what I meant by real-time data. Because organizations relies on a lot of data, be it structured data, unstructured data, and that data can be maintained in ERP systems, operational systems like CRM tools, and other data is also maintained offline in Excel, CSVs, or in PDFs. So how we can really integrate data from multiple sources, build one single source of truth, and use it for downstream analytics. That is also one consideration that and a requirement a CFO has to bridge this time gap. Traditionally, for doing any downstream analytics, it is a very time-consuming process to create a dashboard. So the thought process these days today are that everyone wants to spend initially 2 to 3 months in constructing one model, and once that model is ready, right, it has to be automated, wherein pipelines can be created in such a way that every time your month is getting closed, data ingestion can happen automatically with proper checks and balances, and ultimately you can use that data for your downstream analytics. So these are some of the requirements. I took a lot of time explaining this, but this will be the premise of what we will be covering in our next slides. So next slide, please. So whatever I explained you, now I will just collate it you like what is a CFO AI vision, how we can really chart a CFO AI vision. There has to be a proper control on data sources. So, firstly, we need to understand there are a lot of data sources sitting inside the organization. And the key is how you can build a ETL layer, how you can really extract, transform, and ingest that data into some kind of a data integrity layer. I call it as a CFO data mart. This is my own word, wherein I am saying that there has to be a repository wherein there has to be a lot of data integrity checks happening across data that is extracted from multiple sources. For example, your sales number in your ERP system can be different with the sales numbers that are reported by a CRM system, right? Or a sales system, that operational system that is being maintained by the organization. So, maintaining that kind of a check within the data integrity framework, doing error checks, format validations, completeness checks, anomaly detection, so that your data input can be improved. It can be made more structured and it can be converted into a refined data that can be used for your downstream analytics. And when I mean downstream analytics, it can be used enterprise wide. It's not only about FP&A. It can be used for functions like treasury, tax, mergers, acquisitions, audit, risk management. And definitely, it can be used for FP&A as well as CFO intelligence, wherein a lot of analysis can be made on top of this refined data, including trend analysis, root analysis, operational financial KPIs dashboards. And really, the AI can be used all across this vision. It can be used for building up this data integrity, sanity level of a data mart, and it can be used further on top of functions for extracting any real-time insights, extracting any key critical information, automating lot of processes. So this is how AI can be used and plugged in at the data source level and at the refined data level. So this is typically how we define our CFO AI vision, and this is something will be in consideration by CFOs as we look at their journey for next 5 years. Yeah. So now I would hand it over to Ishwar.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Thanks Asif and Abhinav for setting up all those things. So I'll just quickly explain like what are the use cases that we see in FP&A that AI can be utilized. Right. So in day-to-day life, FP&A persons work on lot of reportings, creation of dashboards, or like creation of budget forecast. So all those places, AI plays. We can use AI to automate things. And but before that, what is an AI and why we are having different? Every time we hear artificial intelligence or machine learning or neural networks or Gen AI, which is the recent catchy word. Like we have to know this. All the things whichever we hear are part of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is nothing but making machines similar to human intelligence and making the task and building doing the task more precise and accurate. So like if you make a machine to perform at a human intelligence level by using any algorithm or by using any mathematics model or something, so that is part of artificial intelligence. So like for that, it requires huge amounts of data that needs to be trained so that it can understand the patterns underlying data, and then we can use the trained model to predict the future outcomes. So earlier, it started with the machine learning where people identify the historical patterns and then try to predict the future outcomes. Like we saw, like if you want to do a budget forecast, like any organization would have, let's say if they want to do a sales forecast for like next 6 months, what we will do in general, like we study like last 4 or 5 years, how our sales are performing across seasons, across different things, and then we try to predict for the next 5 months or 12 months what our sales would look like. So for that, in machine learning, we have like lot of models are there like Harima, Sarima, or you can also use convolutional neural networks to identify the underlying patterns, how the trend has been varied across the seasons, and then we train those models and we use the train model to predict for the next future months. But now if you hear in the latest market, like we are seeing use of Gen AI, like let's say without training our data, like without putting our data into training, can we predict? So that is a question. So that's where Gen AI comes. So lot of the models are already pre-trained by huge organizations on vast amount of data, so that the hardness of training, like a person who is not technical or person who is not in this data science domain can leverage use of these Gen AI models, so which makes easy. So I'll quickly give you an can you go to next slide, Asha?
Sorry, sir.
So I'll
So, want
quickly
to share your screen?
yes.
Yeah, let me just stop sharing mine.
So can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
1 minute. 1 minute, 1 minute. I'm just...
Sure, please take your time.
Ma, please confirm like if you can see that.
Yes, we can see your screen, yes, sir.
So like so this is one of the GPT model which is available in the market, Time GPT, which has been trained on lots of amount of data related to the finance, IoT data, sensor data. And now as this GPT model is available, any finance person you can use this model to in their use cases to predict for the can be used for the forecasting things. So like, do we need to know the coding and all those things? It's a very minimal thing that requires for any persons to start using this kind of GPT models available in the market. Like mostly this Time GPT is capable of accurately predicting domain, retail, electricity, finance, and IoT. So like I'll quickly show you a demo like how it has been, how can we use. So I'm uploading a sample data which is related to month on month sales value, and I want to predict for the next 12 months, right? So this application has been created using this Time GPT model, this which provides as an API, and then we can predict for the next 12 months. So like I have taken here 12 and the frequency as months, and then we can also predict day, weeks, month, quarters, and years. And we can see like this has been predicted for the next 12 months how the sales is looking like. Now, most of them are not familiar with this Python, or like cannot create all these applications. We can also use this tool in our Excel also. Like I'll show you.
So, Ishwar, what you did was you uploaded 4 months of data, and then based on that, it predicted the next 12 months, right? That's what
Yes, yes,
happened. Okay.
yes. So now the Nixla Time GPT has also provided an add-on in Excel, where you can use this GPT model in your Excel to predict the forecast used for forecasting and also for the anomaly detection in your data. Now, I'll just select this focused model, and then I'm selecting this time GPT and the frequency of months as my data is at the monthly level. And then I'm selecting the dates range. And also next, I should select the values range. Then I can do a make prediction. So you can see it has predicted for the next 7 months. So now the question comes like, do we need to use this tool in Excel, or do we need to use that? Do we actually need to build an agentic workflow, which I shown in here? So like if you have a proper data in your data mart, which Abhinav is also saying, like if you have a consolidated data at a CFO data mart, so at that time, building this kind of application makes helpful. Instead of dropping a CSV file, you can just connect this API to the CFO data mart and do a regular predictions whenever you want. The easy thing is like now the training of your own models has been cut down, and we can use this which are available tools in the market. I also want to show one more recent tool which came into the market is like Microsoft Copilot. So this is in the right now in the preview mode. So Microsoft has created this Copilot where they can use the Copilot for the reconciliations, analysis of variance. So there are two things which Microsoft is developing. And if we want to use this in our day-to-day life, just get sign up for this thing and then go to your Excel. So here it comes the reconcile data. I have two
So
data
Ishwar,
sheets.
you pre-installed that add-in, right? That add-in you
So like
pre-installed.
we can discuss like how this copilots can be add on. This is
Okay.
provided by the Microsoft. We just need to sign it up. So it says add on to your Excel directly. I'm
Okay.
not showing that part how to add in, but I'm
But these are external add-ins that everybody could just quickly get once they sign up. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So like once the data is available, like I have a trip budget and the bank statement, and generally we finance use cases to for the reconciliation. Now I've selected this Copilot and I pass these two working sheets, and then I select the columns like based on date, expenditure category, and budget amount from the trip budget table, and also transaction date, transaction category, and amount from the bank statement. I can generate a reconciliation by just click of buttons. So now you can see here. The reconciliation has been done at the date, expenditure, and budget amount, and the difference at this everything, and it creates this report automatically. Now in future, what happens for this thing is also not only this, it also provides a summary. Like it is giving the reconciliation summary. 13 sets of transactions were matched perfectly between demo trip budget and demo bank statement. Like it also provide the summary and insights. And the next plan is to to also develop the visual insights that can be shared. Okay. Now this also can be saved as a PDF, whatever the report has been generated. So this is a reconciliation report summary between the reconciled data. Now, so do we need to use the tools which developed by the Microsoft, or do we need to develop our own tools? It comes when you want, what is the use case that you want to solve? Let's say you are dealing with very large amounts of data, and where the Excel is not a right tool for you. You identified that you cannot handle all those things on the Excel. Then the thing is like we need to develop a tool that can be used like this kind of web applications. And then we can use already pre-trained models for your finance use cases. So this is the real quick demo which I want to show on the forecasting and the reconciliation using the Copilot.
Thanks, Ishwar. So just to add to that, so these are just some examples, and we'll talk about more such use cases in the detailed program, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. But before that, we'll go back to Abhinav. So Abhinav, do you want to just cover uh, the AI-driven finance side before we get into the program? Let me just share my screen.
Rashef,
It's screen one, and I'll just quickly do a slide share.
so, guys, I think what Ishwar showed was very meaningful in a way, like how things are happening currently. And it can be a combination of traditional AI techniques or a modern, AI or a generative AI. Whatever we are using, it will depend upon the use case we are working on. There are certain add-ins that are coming inside Excel that can be used to do an analysis that is simple and on a structured data. But when it comes to a very specialized use case, it will require building up applications using a combination of traditional ML and latest generative AI, combination of both, and connecting it with source systems of the customers, your enterprises, to extract insights, do such kind of analysis. So it all depends upon the identification of use case. So planning the shift to AI driven finance has to be a stepwise approach. First of all, as I've told, there has to be a strategic business assessment. You need to identify like what are the use cases in which AI can be used, it can be leveraged. It could be in terms of, enterprise wide you are analyzing. Like, for example, in your organization, you are working in FP&A team. You could think from how it can be used for better forecasting, building up budgeting, extracting reports, understanding use case, and understand how it really can be used with AI. So first thing is identification of use case by doing a strategic business assessment. Second thing, what we mentioned via CFO Data Mart was there is a need to implement a data warehousing and a data validation layer. If you are dealing with a lot of multiple source systems, unstructured, structured data, for example, some of your data may be in Excel in a very structured format, but some of your data may be in PDFs, right? So how you can really do analysis simultaneously such kind of documents. So there is a need to implement a data warehouse. Of course, it can be done through multiple ways. There are a lot of options available in the market. It could be a GCP, Google Cloud Platform, AWS, Microsoft Azure, MS Fabric. A lot of options are there when I talk about data warehouse. But the thought here is that once you have identified all your use cases where the AI can be leveraged, how really that AI can work in your business case would be there has to be a place where all your data is getting stored so that your GPT applications can interact with your data warehouse and do analysis. So implementing data warehouse and data validation layer is very important for maintaining data accuracy, checks and balances. Reporting and analytics will be the step three. Once you have the data warehouse and the model ready, you can do a lot of downstream analytics You can use the combination of Excel, BI tool like Power BI, Tableau, or any dedicated LLMs to do extract any data, do any analysis that are required by organizations, by your organizations. So this is downstream analytics, third step. Fourth step is more on AI agent training. So once, let us say, your step one, step two, step three is completed. The step four would be how you can improve the accuracy of the insights, because ultimately you are using now a pre-trained model that has been trained. It may not be trained exactly on your organization data. So AI agent training and deployment is not something one shot. It will be always iterative, because your business requirements also changes. What really it will help you will be to eliminate 8 steps that used to be done traditionally. So 8 out of 10 steps will definitely get eliminated, but AI agent trainings, deployments. When I say AI agent trainings, you must have heard about prompt engineering. Even when you are using Chat GPT, you have to ask right kind of prompts. So when you are building your own GPTs, your own models that is interacting with your data, it has to be iterative, because your requirements will keep on changing, your nuances, finance nuances will keep on changing, and that is why it has to be trained and kept on training, and it has to be in an iterative approach. The last step is, once it has been adequately trained, how you can really build a unified CFO dashboard and a AI driven chatbot. So you can really construct one consolidated view for all your comprehensive financial insights. And moreover, you can use a chatbot to interact with such kind of dashboards. You can ask, create your own queries. You can give it to multiple users. They can ask in layman terms, and the relevant data and relevant answers will be published depending upon the prompts. So this is a plan in terms of from a CFO lens, how the plan looks like in terms of shift. And again, the things we are discussing today, it may be changed, in another 6 months, because in this era, things are moving very fast. At present, this is where we have seen practically from our experience, most of the CFOs are trying to build this kind of a tiered, stepwise approach in terms of planning the shift to AI driven finance. Yeah, next slide, Asif. So this is more on the challenges and the AI guide. Now, for implementing all those steps, there has to be a thought process in detail. It could not be that, before identifying any use case, right? There has to be a lot of steps that needs to be followed, because AI has its own set of challenges. Few of the challenges, if I have to give you top three challenges from a CFO perspective, one is definitely on the data and privacy. So there has to be a robust control on the data governance, data privacy standards before exposing your organization data to any kind of a pre-trained model. It has to be made secure. And there are a lot of talks happening. What should be that robust data governance policy or a data and privacy guidelines that companies should be following? Because again, it is still very open-ended, difficult to crack. And I think again, data and privacy thing will be eventually made more robust if the organizations will have to be started using this GPT model. So in our experience, in our last 6 months, we have seen very few companies that are using pre-trained models already available in the market. Most of the companies are trying to build their own GPTs, and that is what we would want to cover this aspect in our training curriculum. Because if you will be building your own GPT, it is something in your own environment, something very easy for you to control rather than exposing it to someone. So data and privacy is one challenge. Second is cultural resiliency, because a lot of things, adoption of these things will ultimately impact a lot of processes that are happening organization wide. So a lot of manual processes can get automated. So again, that is one kind of a resistance AI has to deal with. every CFO, before whenever we have made any presentations on adoptability of CFO AI, it is something whether employees will be willing to use such AI tools, how it will impact, whether there will be, less work. So those kind of considerations are definitely there. So just to get it started, you need to really identify the areas across finance where AI can be used. You need to understand your existing technology landscape, what existing tools your organizations have, what are their limitations. You have to survey their existing usage to identify and control risk. Like, you need to understand how that source system or an existing system is being used, what are their limitations. Within your organizations there is a concept of key technology champions, so there has to be a 100% buy-in from a tech person or a tech champion to support and drive your AI initiatives, because these will be the people who will eventually be driving this as we move forward. You need to really consult with AI vendors, right? How it can be really used, how models can be created on their own, your organization data, how we can take care of data and privacy concerns, what kind of an ROI can we expect. Normally we are asked such questions: what will be the investment? What is the kind of investment we are looking at for next 3 years? What is the returns we are expecting? So such kind of things, still requires a lot of consulting, and there are a lot of AI vendors today that can guide you on how you can understand the tool usage within your organization, creating a value proposition, planning a cultural shift wherein it can be adopted is one thing needs to be channelized for a successful implementation of AI for trainings and process adjustments. So this is some considerations and a roadmap where the modern CFOs are working on. And I think with this, I would pass it on to Asif. I think we have covered whatever we wanted in this presentation from a CFO AI vision, certain considerations, certain practical examples of what they are currently dealing with. And I hope it was helpful. Maybe we can
Yes,
take up questions towards the later part.
surely. And I just wanted to add that we initiated this about a month and a half or 2 months back, and we did a very similar session amongst our alumni. And based on all the feedback that we got from our alumni, which are more than, I think, which is a group of more than 500 people by now, and I think 50 of them attended, 40, 50 of them attended that session. So we did that session 2 months back, and with all the feedback that we have got, we have come up with a program. So I'm sure we cannot cover everything in this 1.5 hour session. So there is a lot more to learn. I hope everybody will agree with that. And also, if you have to do this alone, it will be probably not be very easy. Okay, so without somebody who's already been in FP&A and technology together, which is what we are as FP&A Professional Institute and GA Management Consultant. So we have people who have domain expertise in finance and FP&A, and also people who have technical expertise like Ishwar in data science. So by coming together, it'll be very easy for us to, I mean, that was the idea of creating the curriculum, and idea is to for us to share with you all the benefits that you can derive out of this collaboration. So I'm sure if you have to do this alone, there are a couple of options that you might have to either take a similar program or you can join our program. So these are, I mean, some of the considerations we had while we had conceptualized the program. And that's how we came up with the AI for Finance and FP&A Masterclass, which is a 8 session masterclass. It's going to be very similar to the FP&A Masterclass we do. And it is going to be 8 live sessions on weekends. It will be a month long program where you have to come on a weekend, Saturdays and Sundays, and we'll discuss all of these modules, and Abhinav and team will guide you through the modules in detail in the next slides. Okay, so who can join this program? So what we believe is, if you are somebody who's working in a finance role at a mid to a senior level, and if you feel that in your organization you need to be taking that lead of learning about about AI and about all of these new tools that are coming up in the market. So that is the person we are looking for people to join this program. And what we can say is from our experience, AI is fairly new, and AI in finance is fairly new. And in the coming years, I'm sure you all will agree that a lot of teams and a lot of finance teams and CFOs and CEOs will implement more and more of AI technology. At that time, you need to be prepared. You cannot at that time you cannot say that you are not ready. So this is a good time for you to get ready, train yourself, be ahead of your peers in terms of learning about AI. So that is what I can say. So what is covered in the AI for finance and FP&A masterclass? I'll hand it over to Abhinav and team. They'll quickly walk you through the curriculum of the program.
Yeah, sir. So there will be 8 sessions in total. The first session we will be discussing about introduction to AI skills for finance and FP&A, wherein we will be discussing about lot of use cases, because I was talking about identifying the use case, but for you, we already have identified a lot of use cases in which your AI can be used, and that is something you will be able to correlate very easily. So definitely skills, use cases, and in our first class, we will give you one practical demo of how to build one big model on a churn or a customer retention that was used recently by one of the leading banks in UAE. So we can give you a practical illustration of how such kind of trainings or how such kind of a models can be built in class one. Class two would be more about making you aware about AI and its applications. So there is a difference between AI, ML, deep learning, natural language processing, generative AI. A lot of people say about AI, but they don't really understand AI. So that kind of a conceptual understanding will be given along with setting up of all your AI tools that will be used in your training curriculum. So we will set up all your API keys for Hugging Face. We will set up your OpenAI key. We will give you certain useful links for your access to different kinds of AI tools in detail. The third class would be more about data privacy on how and what kind of scenarios are we looking at while we are adopting AI and how we can mitigate those data privacy and security things. What is the best practices of using those tools? Because whenever you will be using any AI tool, there will be a fundamental question. Am I exposing my data? Is my data safe? Is my data being read by someone else? So we will be talking about best practices on how you can use all these applications in a secure way and a secure network. Definitely, we will cover about different AI applications on how we can. We will also have one case study covered in class three. Class four would be all about using ChatGPT and Copilot. So Ishwar gave you one kind of a glimpse of how reconciliation can be used, inside Microsoft Excel. So we will give you a lot of relevant business and finance use cases from our experience, wherein you can use ChatGPT and Copilot for fast turnaround times. And it is super simple, to be very honest, if you learn on how to use it effectively. Class 5, class 6, class 7 will be all about building your own GPTs, how you can build your own applications. And the importance of class 5, class 6, class 7 would be that you will eventually learn without any coding knowledge, a very basic coding knowledge on how you can build your own models, how you can build your own forecasting application, how can you build your own, reconciliation application and connect with your data sources so that real-time insights, all those kind of things can be eventually handled. So class 5 and class 6 and 7 will be all about building those applications wherein you will be given hands-on training on how to build it from scratch. And class 8 would be more about, exploring all other AI tools. There are a lot of AI tools. You must have heard about OpenAI, but there are hundreds other AI tools. Ishwar showed you about time series tool, right, today. So there are a lot of different tools that are readily available in the market. So we will give you walkthrough of those tools. You will understand how it can be used, what are the use cases. If any use case fits that, you can really use it very easily. So class 8 would be about covering all other AI tools and giving you a walkthrough of how you can use it for which use case. So that is what we will be covering in our 8 classes. So that was our idea.
Thank you so much, Abhinav, for walking us through the curriculum. With that, I think we come towards almost the end. Before that, we get into the Q&A. So just quickly, we'll share the timetable of the program. So it starts on 14th of September, which is next Saturday, and the timing is 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. India time. So 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. IST is when the classes will happen on Saturdays and Sundays for the next 1 month. So it starts on 14th of September and it ends on 6th of October. So this is the schedule for the program. And when we launched this a week back in our alumni group, we already got few enrollments, and we had launch discount for this program, which Abhinav and Gaurav and Ishwar has agreed to extend it to people who are here in this webinar. So already we had decided we'll give that launch discount to only the first 5 participants, and we already got the first 5 participants. But uh, great, thanks to GA Management Consultants, they've agreed to extend that discounts for only people who have joined this webinar. So usually we wanted to price this program very similar to our FP&A masterclass, which is at $347 US. But for this webinar attendees, it is going to be 247. We have again opened the code which we had during the launch, which was a week back. So you can use this code AI launch and take the benefit of the discount on the program if you wish to join. So what I'll do is I'll quickly, while you guys ask questions, so we are a lot of people, I think 60 plus people here, so we may not be able to do on the microphone. So what you can do is you can drop in your questions one by one in the chat box and we will come to it. And Abhinav and Ishwar and Gaurav will answer those questions one by one. In the meanwhile, I'll stop sharing my screen and I'll just drop the program link and the discount code in the chat box.
I don't see any questions in the chat box. So either we are too clear or not clear.
Dhaval is back, so welcome, Dhaval. And yeah, so Dhaval is my co-founder partner at FP&A Professional Institute, and happy to have you back. And so what I'll do is I'll quickly drop the FLM, the AI for Finance program link in the chat box along with the discount code. In the meanwhile, you think about questions, so people are maybe thinking about the questions, and I'll just drop the link in the chat box along with the coupon code.
Okay, so I see one question here from Charu Goyal. She asks, any suggestions for certifications we can do for AI or Chat GPT?
Okay, so this is going to be a certificate program. So once you complete the 16 hours of live classes, you will be eligible for a certificate, if that is your question.
I mean, one point I would like to add here, for any skill-based activities like this one, right? We have not reached that stage yet where people are asking for a diploma in AI or a certification for AI. So don't worry about certifications. If you are exposed to the right set of skill sets, if you're able to significantly improve your productivity, significantly improve your capacity through these kind of programs, that is what you should be looking for right now, right? When we reach that stage where people are asking for a graduation in accounting or a graduation in AI or a diploma in AI, at that time, the certifications would matter.
So there is a question from Lakshman. He's asking, are you going to give practical exposure to manufacturing companies?
Abhinav, you want to take that?
So I think definitely, Lakshman, it's a good suggestion. I think the thought process of us designing this curriculum was to focus more on the different use cases, right? Be it, let us say, for example, a finance or a scenario modeling kind of a use case, right? It is used across industries. But while we are showing that, maybe we can also touch base upon how one of the use case of manufacturing companies is supply chain forecasting, right? So we can also talk that through, some of the already models that are available in the market currently, how you can use it, how you can work on such kind of data sets, how you can leverage it for your own data sets. So definitely, we will give you some definitely an exposure on how you can use pre-trained AI models for your own manufacturing use cases.
Okay, Heather has a question. Can you show some practical video? I'm not sure
So Ethel,
what do
if
we mean
I
by
don't,
that.
yeah, I'm not sure if you joined late, but in the middle of the webinar, we had two practical examples. So we had covered, I think, two use cases. One was on the reconciliation and the other one was on the forecasting of sales data. So maybe you can just revisit the recording, and if you need more practical examples, definitely we can check with Abhinav and team, and if they have something which we can share as a video.
Suvendu has a question. Can you please throw light on the AI adoption that has been already initiated by global companies? Which areas have been started?
So, yeah. So I think there has already been initiatives, wherein a lot of CFOs are exploring, a lot of companies have already started, a lot of companies are in the process of adopting AI. The areas really depends, company to company. We have seen in our experience, finance and FP&A is one of the use case, one of the function from which the CFO wants to really start, because a lot of analytics, forecasting, reconciliations is done right by an FP&A team eventually when we are performing downstream analytics. So one of the areas wherein AI adoption has been considered by CFOs is definitely on how they can use AI for FP&A primarily in report generations, predictive modeling, interacting with data. Other areas wherein we have seen a lot of interest is legal and fraud detection. So there are a lot of contracts that requires a lot of data mining, understanding the implications, right? What will be the impact of any non-compliance? What should be certain things that we should always keep track of? What are those covenants? So contracts management is also one area wherein organizations are exploring, and definitely the third one is fraud detection. So, there was one real estate client recently we worked on, and there was a lot of transactional data. And the thought process was, how we can detect anomalies, because there have been instances in every 3 to 4 years there wherein there has been a material misstatement. So how AI can be used to data mine a lot of data sets, historical data sets, and detect anomalies that can pinpoint to a possible fraud. So a lot of areas in terms of fraud, legal, FP&A is something initially people are exploring, but this is more on the use case front. But from the features perspective, when I say features, which features are being mostly explored by companies is ability to interact with PDF documents, comparing multiple PDF documents, how an Excel file can be really read through and modeled. So these are also certain areas and features that are being explored by different companies. So it really depends. But in our experience, these are certain initiatives and areas wherein people have already started working on.
Okay.
Great. Thanks,
So
Abhinav.
yeah, there are a couple of comments on people from Middle East that Sunday is a working day. So initially we thought about everybody, including all the countries. So that's why we kept Saturday, Sunday, which is weekends for most of the people. But if we have a lot of interest from Middle East, if we have 5 to 7 candidates who want to do it on Friday, Saturday, we can arrange a separate batch at some point in the future. So Imran and Sebastian will reach out to you. And if we have more people who can join the Friday, Saturday batch, we'll definitely arrange for one during that time. Okay, so Subhendu is thanking Abhinav. Great to your detailed answer. Thank you so much.
Afroz has a question. Can AI replace financial analysis completely?
Answer is a big no. Nothing is getting replaced. It will only facilitate on how things were done traditionally and how things can be done in a better and a quicker way. So nothing is getting replaced, right? Even when you are using any GPT model, you have to define the rules. You have to create that rules. It is not that ratios can be calculated automatically. There has to be someone, right, who has given that rule. And these things are very in finance, what our experience is, this is something varies across organization to organization. So the definition of ebitda may be different for different kinds of organizations, right? So there has to be that kind of an understanding even before we really think about AI is definitely not replacing any kind of an analytical or any kind of an analytical framework. It is just facilitating you to how to quickly do things before, rather than relying on multiple people for executing the same job. Traditionally, you have to rely on a developer or a data scientist to do certain kind of analysis for you. But now it could be you only who is doing all the three roles simultaneously. So that is one thing for sure. There is one thing called process automations, right? You must have heard about RPA, and it has already been in the market since last 20 years, right? Definitely, if we talk about process automations, let us say there are 10 rules for an invoice processing, right? And you are defining those 10 rules by AI, right? So those kind of processes can definitely go away, right? But when you are doing any RPA or any automation, then you need to also understand when you are doing automation, there could be 5 or 6 more kind of a task that can come with any automation. There has to be controls set up on automation. There has to be a proper channelizing of pipelines, data flows, validation. So supplementary work will always be there in terms of RPA, but in terms of analysis, it is something AI will facilitate you, make your time save more rather than replacing it.
And maybe if I can also add in to what Abhinav said, so answer from my side is also a no. I would just say, like think of it as when internet came, or basically when, like computers started coming into the market. Initially, there was, like everybody feared that ultimately internet or maybe a computer when it came will replace us, but it never happened. In fact, what happened was that both these things actually help us, like perform our functions in an efficient manner and in a more quick manner. So I would say yes, initially, as people are still exploring and understanding, there would be, like certain disruptions. But post that, like once people also understand and upskills themselves, then it will just add as, like as an enabler for you in order to, like perform your functions. Because we all come from, let's say, finance background, and we understand there are a lot of mundane and repetitive tasks. So sometimes, like in data preparation only, we spend weeks, and there is actually no point, like spending weeks in just doing the same repetitive, mundane, like data preparation tasks. If somehow a technology can come in, which in this case is AI, which can help us, like streamline that function and save our time. So, we can actually utilize that time to perform other things, which is, like generating insights out of what our data has come out. So that's my take on it.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Gaurav. So I have a couple of questions in my personal chat box. So first one is I have missed some part of the webinar. Will the recording be shared? So the recording will be shared with you, and we'll notify that in the next 24 hours to 48 hours. So you will get to see the recording. The second question is there a expiry date to the discount coupon? So there is no expiry date, date to the discount coupon. However, the discount is only for people who are here in the webinar and for the first 10 participants overall. So once the 10 participants are crossed, already we have 5 participants joined. So I think the next 5 participants will get that benefit of the discount. So there is no expiry date, but it will expire automatically after 10 participants join the program. There is one more question in the chat box. Thanks for the informative session. Can you share more details on the course and classes, as I am an FP&A manager and I am using AI, so using AI in my work already, and my understanding that the course will be for intermediate to senior level, but still need to know more details on the outcomes of the course. So Ahmed, you can directly reach out to one of us, me or Abhinav, and we will be happy to help you if you have any detailed questions that you want to understand. So we have shared so what I would suggest is you go through the curriculum on the website, the link that we have shared, and I'll again drop the link in the chat box. So we have made sure that we have put all the details of the curriculum as detailed as possible on the website. So you can go through that. Even after going through that, if you have more questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to connect you to one of Abhinav or Gaurav or Ishwar, and we can take it forward. Okay, any more questions? I think we are we can wrap the session up if there are no further questions. Any last thoughts, Dhaval, Ishwar, Gaurav, Abhinav?
Yeah, maybe one thing I would definitely like to tell all the people is that start your AI learning journey now, right? Don't wait for it to become mainstream. That's the mistake that probably some of our seniors had done when, things were, when the new ERPs were coming in, or when MS Office was coming in, whatever at their time, whatever was coming in, right? So let's not be the laggards. We should be early adopters, and we should take. And this is just the beginning, right? The field is evolving in such rapid pace, right? So it's just the beginning, and just to make sure that you don't delay in taking your first step. That would be my recommendation. Yes, happy to hear any thoughts from Abhinav, Gaurav to close the session.
I think I agree with you, Dhaval. And I think these are some of the things, we have also felt during our initial days, lack of structured training available. That is very centric to the work and the practical scenarios. And the good part is all of us, understands finance and technology. So we are ensuring that we are putting all our efforts in providing you one kind of a journey, that will really help you for at least next 2 years, making you having that early advantage of how to use AI tools. If there is a discussion about adoption of an AI tool, you have a strategic roadmap on how it will ideally work, how to really calculate ROI, how to compare different AI tools, what are the tools and resources available in the market. And mostly more than that, you will be even learning on how to use that and build your own GPT. So imagine if you have such kind of skill set developed, as an outcome of a training, it will really give you an edge over others, at least in the next 2 years. And as we progress, we become more specialized. There will be more sophisticated AI that is expected to come next year. So we will also continue to learn and evolve. And I think it's better to embrace what will be happening and what is happening rather than delaying it. So that is my feedback to all, that they should consider starting their AI journey as soon as possible, and learn on how it can be used in their day-to-day life.
Thank you so much. Any more thoughts from anybody on the mic? If not, we can just say thank you so much, and we will see. We look forward to you to be joining one of our programs, and highly recommend you join this AI for Finance. Thank you so much. And yeah, somebody's asking for the discount code again. So let me just drop that in the chat box. So the discount code is AI launch. And it's available for the next 5 participants. Thank you so much, everybody. And we will see you again in one of the upcoming programs or one of these webinars. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye. Good
Thanks,
day.
everyone.
Thank you.